Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bitcoin Doctor. This is my first stream on DLive, and it's going to be very interesting because I've never streamed on DLive. I just uh, joined a stream from Hexologist. Hexologist is another cryptocurrency blogger um, uh, or streamer on the cryptocurrency HEX, and I decided to start my own stream on the cryptocurrency HEX. And so now I'm going to try to find out how to do that and join the party and build my own following. Right? That's the idea. So I have been following cryptocurrency in general since, well, seriously, since mid 2016. I got several clients that wanted to do either traditional mining, uh, Bitcoin, and some other coins, and then, of course, uh, I started getting into proof of stake mining and masternodes, and that's really what took off for me. I started doing masternode consulting. I now have a company, masternodeconsulting.com, and that worked out fantastic. Really loved that. And well, let's get started. I just want to do a quick stream to get my feet wet and to try to tell you what I'm about. Again, my name is Joe. I'm a cryptocurrency consultant. I call myself the Bitcoin Doctor, and I'm currently promoting the cryptocurrency HEX. And so, really it comes down to what it comes down to is that I believe in this cryptocurrency. I think it's going to be uh, great return on investment, better than Bitcoin. And that's saying something, I think. I mean, Bitcoin right now, comparing, the price now, 9,100, to when Bitcoin began, which was essentially zero, we're talking, millions of percent profit. Bitcoin is the cryptocurrencies in general are the highest appreciating assets in the history of the world. And I think Hex is going to be right up there. So let's look at, some real fundamentals. And then that'll be my introduction to your introduction to me and my introduction to DLive. So let's see. Um, what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer, it was designed to be a peer-to-peer electronic cash. That's what Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever that is, man, woman, group, whatever, CIA, NSA, who knows. But Bitcoin, the white paper was released October 31st, 2008. It was released on Halloween, I kid you not. And Satoshi released the first software, mid spring 2009. There was a lot of people early on that communicated with Satoshi, and the software was born. No one, of course, ever met Satoshi in the flesh, but people did talk to him a lot via email and Reddit and some other bulletin boards. So um, when it turns, the bottom line is that cryptographic uh, science, elliptical curve cryptography, which Bitcoin is based on, is decades old. Prior uh, to 2009, Satoshi really knitted some things together that already existed in terms of inventing. Uh, Satoshi invented a new way of using things that already existed, and that's key. That's how many great inventions get made. But let's talk about the basics of crypto. What I call the law of big numbers and the law of small numbers. I don't know if you've ever heard this, but I don't know if you can see this, but this is a number 2 to the 256 power. Okay? So basically what we're just saying is that this is the universe of Bitcoin private keys. It's also the universe of many cryptocurrencies' private keys. Some cryptocurrencies have different spaces for their private keys, but imagine a number from 1 to this number in front of you, and trying to guess someone else's number in that space. Well, I mean, the bottom line is this number that you're looking at is not real. It represents no quantity in the physical universe. If you were to take all the atoms in all the stars, in all the galaxies of the universe, and count them, they would be less than this number. This number is so far beyond reality. It's so far beyond anything that could be real. It's just unimaginable. And, you know, this is why, you know, governments can't sort of find your private key. They can perhaps guess a number and then assume it's your private key, but that won't work. I mean, it has to be the number that represents your private key in the Bitcoin system, or separately, conversely, in the Litecoin system or the Ethereum system or any other separate system. In other words, one number would be a different private key in all these different thousands and thousands of cryptos. Therefore, it's what we call an intractable problem. Now, let's talk about small numbers. Why is it that it's possible to make such huge gains in the world of crypto and, you know, formerly penny stocks, but this leaves penny stocks in the dust. The whole Wolf of Wall Street movie and the guy's life that was based on and all the money that he made, crypto is thousands of times, orders and orders and orders of magnitude more powerful. Okay, law of small numbers. This number, the top line number, is 1/1,000,000th of a dollar. And so say you happen across a cryptocurrency that has been created and has a decent reputation. It has some non-scammers managing the project, and one of the coins is worth 1/1,000,000th of a dollar. So you buy a lot of them, and then magic happens. They go to the moon and go up 100,000%. How much money do you have? Well, if you had just one of them, you'd have 1,000th of a penny. So what does that mean? Well, if you bought $1 of them when they were 1/1,000th of a dollar and they went up 100,000%, you'd now have $1,000. But let's say you went crazy and you bought $10 when they were 1/1,000th of a dollar. Well, after 100,000% gain, going to the moon, you'd now have $10,000. But let's say you really got crazy and you bought 100 or $1,000. Okay, $1,000 of this particular coin when it was 1/1,000th of a dollar. Well, and it went up 100,000%. Well, what you would have now is you would have $1 million. This is how it happens. This is why crypto is so exciting to people. This is, I think, why so many people are involved. Hey, this is why I'm involved. I mean, it's really about return on investment. I mean, what else is there? That's the point, I think. Richard Hart, the founder of HEX, basically said, you know, people get involved in cryptocurrency because they want to make money. It's just that simple. And that's why I'm involved, and that's why I'm promoting HEX. The key is this: HEX is the first high interest blockchain certificate of deposit. HEX was designed to go higher, faster, and retain its value. HEX is the future of finance. Stake your claim. HEX has price positive game theory, PPGT. You can find out more at hex.bitcoin-doctor.com. Hex.bitcoin-doctor.com. Okay, so you know, it's there's a number of things about Hex. What is a blockchain-based certificate of deposit? Well, to revolutionize finance, every single function banks serve today must be replaced with a peer-to-peer, open source, trustless, no middleman system. Bitcoin started that revolution in trustless, immutable, distributed, peer-to-peer digital currency. Bitcoin started at zero, and today, over 11 years, has reached $165 billion in market cap total. CDs are worth more than all the cash printed in the world, $7.2 trillion in the US and China alone. Certificates of deposit, they're powerful. They're guaranteed by the bank. You put your money in, you lock it up for 6 months or a year or 5 years or however long, and you get paid. And that's the system. Bottom line is HEX allows you to lock up your HEX for 1 day to 5,555 days. Cuatro Cinco, as we call it. So 5555. There are many what are called pumpamentals involved in HEX. The first year is a launch of HEX, and that is part of where we are now. HEX began life in 2019. December 2nd, 2019 was the launch of HEX, and now we're in the middle of the launch year. The launch year ends November 19th, 2020. November 19th, 2020. That's what we call big payday, because one of the pumpamentals is that Bitcoin holders, as of December 2nd, are allowed to claim HEX for free. All they have to do is sign a particular message with their private key showing that they owned Bitcoin at that time, and they can claim their HEX. And we can talk about that. Stakers get all the unclaimed HEX from the Bitcoin free claims. Those people that do not free claim their HEX as of November 19th, 2020, all of that unclaimed HEX that would have gone to all of those Bitcoin holders goes to everyone who's currently staking on that day, November 19th, 2020. So that's a very important date. Each week that a Bitcoin holder, free claimer, doesn't claim, they lose 2% of their stack of HEX to existing stakers. Bottom line is people should have started free claiming December 3rd, 2019, but they haven't. I mean, there's still time, but they've been losing their ability to do that free claim to the tune of 2% a week. Bitcoin free claims must be smaller than 1,000 Bitcoin, If you have 2,000 Bitcoin, you have to break it up into two separate accounts to claim your free hex. So that's another barrier. It's kind of like Richard designed the system to disincentivize Bitcoin whales from getting involved, even though millions and millions, $1.5 billion in Bitcoin has been free claimed on Hex. Multi-sig can't claim. That means no large exchanges or clearing houses such as the Chicago Mercantile Exchange and the 137,891 Bitcoin in the Mount Gox scandal scam. They can't claim. That's that. They just can't participate. So Hex has permanent staking bonuses that will go far into the future after November 19th, 2020. Bigger pays better. Up to 10% bonus shares, up to 150 million Hex staked. Fewer stakers means higher interest. The, the lower the number of people participating in the certificate of deposit program, the more interest they get. Well, that makes sense, right? Only a few people participate, they get mad gains. But more people will be encouraged to participate, hearing about those mad gains, until there will be some equilibrium. If only 1% of HEX supply staked, the average interest would be 369%. That's not very likely. 2%, 184%, 10%, 36%. More stakers means less circulating supply. So that pumps the value. You see how all of this kind of fits together? So that's bigger pays better. Uh, Fewer stakers means higher interest. Longer pays better. The longer you stake, the more you make. Up to 3 times the number of shares, up to 3,641 days, and then it kind of levels off through the maximum of 5,555 days. Ending a stake to reinvest its yield never pays more HEX than just having a longer stake to begin with. Emergency end stakes, EES, emergency end stake penalties. Well, unless you go past the 50% stake days, minimum of 90 days, you can hit your principal. In other words, if you claim you're going to stake for 300 days, you're going to get a certain amount of interest. But if you end your stake like in, I don't know, 80 days, well, you're going to get hit hard with penalties. That's called an emergency end stake. That's, way too soon. Late end stake penalties. So when you end a stake, let's say you're going to stake for 300 days, and you go the whole 300 days. You end your stake. Then you delay in getting your money. Well, there's a penalty for that. You have a 2-week grace period. Excuse me. You have a 2-week grace period in which you can go ahead and get your stake. But after the 14 days, 1% of your stake per week is penalized. 1%. So it really does not pay to not end your stake and convert your shares back into HEX within that 2-week grace period. So this is just a brief introduction to HEX. I encourage you to find out more. Get in touch with me at Bitcoin- or hex.bitcoin-doctor.com. I'll show you right now where you can get in touch with me at any time. And here we go. Bitcoin hex-doctor.com. So buy HEX or just hex.bitcoin-doctor.com. Buy HEX or just hex.bitcoin-doctor.com. I often show this image coming up here. Bam. Why are we involved in cryptocurrency? Why? Well, this is why. This is a chart as of May 19th. May 19th, Bitcoin was up 35% on the year. Everything above the line is year to date as of May 19th. Ethereum was up 65%. Bitcoin SV was up 106% year to date. But that's all sad compared to HEX up 4,271%. Below the line, this is how you're doing relative as of May 19th to your all-time high. Bitcoin was down 52% from its all-time high in late 2017, early 2018 of 20 grand. 52%. Well, that was 884 days prior to May 19th. Ethereum was down 85% from its all-time high, 857 days prior to May 19th, 2020. Bitcoin was down as well. It was down 50%. I'm sorry. HEX was down as well. HEX was down 50% from its all-time high just 5 days prior to May 19th on May 14th, whatever. HEX is today. HEX is what's going on right now. If you want really, really top return on investment, you want to look into HEX. You want to look into HEX. Get in touch with me here on DLive. I'm going to be doing some more live streams. I'm going to try to do a few, like at least every day. I'm going to try to do a live stream and just be there for you and answer questions. And if you use my link, hex.bitcoin-doctor.com or buyhex.bitcoin-doctor.com, you're going to get 10% more HEX when you convert Ethereum to HEX. That's a great deal, right? Yeah, I get compensated, but that's not important. What's important is that you get 10% more. That's what's important. Yes, yes, that's what's important. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for joining me. And remember the reason we're involved in crypto. Bam! Thank you. Talk to you soon.